die. Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And everybody here on the internet, just cross your fingers for me because we may have reached the light at the end of the tunnel with this crazy Superbird journey. For those of you who haven't been following, I bought this Superbird for $130,000 almost, well, over 6 months ago now, and it showed up with a lot of issues that weren't disclosed. The car was basically undrivable, had things that were never hooked up. It was initially sold at a Barrett-Jackson auction, restored like this, but resto-modded, which is really weird because it's one of 135 Hemi Superbirds, but it was a race car in period wreck. The original motor, the Hemi, is long gone, so it is far from being a, well, real Hemi Superbird other than the VIN. Under the hood is a modern big block Hemi and a Tremec. I don't even remember if it's a 5-speed or 6-speed. It's been so long. It's got a Tremec in there, a modern suspension underneath, and well, after sorting through a lot of the issues electrical-wise, the car wizard kind of had to punt it because he doesn't do tuning. So I got it down here at Polk Performance. Well, not quite 2 months ago, but first we had to deal with the overheating issues, which was a whole thing in itself. So let's get Dave in here. We'll explain why it's been gone for so long and why maybe I might be driving it home today. Maybe? Well, Dave here at Polk Performance has been so patient with this car, and well, the first issue to address was the overheating, which we did the whole trick, you know, drilling holes into the shroud. That was right up against the radiator, but that was kind of a joke, just a halfway to see if it helped the car, and it did. So went quite a bit further, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So the last shroud, like you said, we just wanted to drill holes just to see if we had any other condition. So then the real fix is to put a whole shroud on it. Bill's built race cars over there, fabricated this one, and boxed it in. That way it's got some room stepped off of the radiator.
And those are some beefy looking fans too, huh?
Yes, those are 1300 CFM fans versus the 800 CFM fans that were in there, so a little bit larger, and they're offset now. So all the cores are getting some airflow through them. And so far, I think we got a good fix. They're pulling a lot more current draw, so the alternator may have to get upgraded, but it's working pretty good. Nice.
So issue number 2 was the engine computer, the Fastbox, which was dated from 2007, yeah. And it wasn't being very cooperative, was it?
No, I was unable to establish communication with it, so the Fast Engineering group out there was kind enough to let us send it to them, and they upgraded that. And then we had an issue with it coming back, and we weren't getting any crank trigger input through the ECU. So they sent us a new ECU that fixed that, and we're on to tuning it now. The original tune is in that ECU, and there's a lot of drivability issues I think that we're going to try to dial in today.
So you haven't done any pulls yet, but you've sort of set it up, the initial programming, right?
Yeah, you had complained about cold start and things, so I worked on some cold start issues and things, and then now we're going to get it on the dyno and just start running through there and see what we see wrong. So this is about the best we can do with the setup that we have and the wiring we have, which has been a little bit of an obstacle for you as well, right? Yes, there's some wiring issues up inside of there, grounding issues, so the ECU didn't have very good grounds.
So you added some more ground. So just to remind people, I'll show them the glove box and then we can set it up for a pull, huh?
Perfect.
Yeah, so there's the last little bit to do, which, you know, it really is a shame because there's so many nice components on this car, but then somebody, like a child, wired it up, and it does actually look like it's a little cleaner over here. So
we cleaned it up some. There was the wiring mess. We just kind of cleaned up that nest and provided new grounds up in there, and bonded things properly, but there's just a lot of wiring that's just kind of not very good.
All right, so fingers crossed. Maybe today will be the day. Maybe. Good. Sounded real good. What do we got? 484 502? Is that what it is? Oh my gosh.
fast. I didn't expect that.
First run was 484 horsepower, 502 torque. He didn't even take it too high up in the RPM. And that's just a baseline on this thing. This thing's a monster.
I see it's still pulling. If you look at the upper graph, it's still on an upward climb. So I'm going to rev it out a little further and see where we plateau out.
Yeah, but 44 is a good start.
Yeah,
522 torque.
That's amazing. It's a lot better than I expected. There was a lot of areas in the map that we already kind of smoothed out. The VE table was really lumpy and everything, so we smoothed that out, and we'll see what else happens here.
Nice. So you went a little further and that sort of...
Yeah, now we got a heat soak run there with it.
Okay.
And so that's about where it's at, but I'll do some tuning and see what we get out.
It sounds fantastic though.
It does.
Yeah. All right. So we have 2 runs down that we're both very happy with, but Dave thinks there might be a little bit more. So
Yeah.
you're advancing a little bit?
Yeah, we're gonna see if it wants a little bit more timing up top, and we're not quite sure what the compression ratio is, so we're gonna play around with that and see if there might be some gains there, and if not, we'll go right back to where we were.
All right, awesome. Brace yourselves. Let's see. Oh, it liked it. It liked 515 and 515. That'll do. I'm happy with that.
It's a very conservative timing curve for 93 octane fuel, and I think it'll be great for the street.
So it may have a little more in it, but if we just leave it here, it'll be happy, right?
I think so. Leave a safety border there.
528 Hemi, 515 horsepower. It's close enough, right?
Yeah, that's wheel horsepower, so that's pretty good.
That's enough for dyno bragging rights. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. So I guess now we can get it down and see how it drives.
Yeah,
and
go for a drive and see what the drivability feels like.
Can you believe this? We're almost done. All right, let's take her out to sea. It's never started that easy before, ever.
No?
Ever. Nothing you can do about the turning radius of this thing, unfortunately. Huh?
Yeah, this thing, I think most big diesel trucks can turn sharper than they can.
So I'm not making that turn. I'll have to go around here, turn around. Well, and the temp gauge has never, ever lived there, ever.
Well, I think it will.
That'll do.
Oh, yeah. It's much more throttle response and torquey in that.
That feels like a modern car.
Yeah. Yeah, nice
incredible.
Linear pedal.
Boogie doggy. Boogity boogity. Yeah. Wow. But not just the feeling of acceleration, but the smoothness of it. This thing was doing everything it should before. And now it's a usable car. It's a car.
Yes.
It's not an ornament. It's not decoration. It's actually a car. That's great.
We've been running her pretty good, and we're still reasonable on the temperature.
Yeah.
I hope she stays there. We're doing this last time. It was like 40 degrees outside. I don't know.
Right, it was. Yeah, it was winter.
Now today's what, 88?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy. I haven't gotten the bill from you yet, but whatever that is, I'm still happy.
I'm happy you're happy.
It had all the right bits in it. It just, they weren't working together. Well, I've had this car back for a few days now, and let me tell you, it is such a transformation. To have something that starts with a turn of the key every time, no matter what, is a nice thing, first of all. But then the driving experience now, it is the comfy cruiser, crazy fast muscle car that it should be, that it should have been originally when it showed up, but obviously it wasn't. Would I have preferred that the seller had told me all the issues before I bid on it? Well, yeah, obviously, but it did make for an interesting journey with this thing. And now, to have it, it just feels so much sweeter. I really have to thank the Car Wizard for this, obviously. Dave Polk at Polk Performance and Fast for helping him out with the Fast Box, and, well, really just What a great car community we have here. I have so many great people that I work with on a regular basis to help me with these cars. And of course, you all for watching. Now, this car isn't done yet. It is definitely far from being as good as it can. One of the big ones is no air conditioning. In the winter, I didn't need it, obviously, and now here we are in summer and no air. So it's actually acting like a factory 426 Hemi in that instance because none of them had air conditioning. That seemed unheard of to buy a race car with air conditioning. So that'll need to be fixed, but honestly, I'm in no hurry. I want to enjoy this car for a while before taking it back up to the Wizards. And there are other vehicles that need their attention, especially one of my other muscle cars, which I just realized I now have my dream 3-car muscle car lineup because of you all watching these videos. This is an absolutely pinch myself moment here to have these 3 cars together and for all 3 of them to be mine. I mean, look at this, a vitamin C Plymouth Superbird resto mod, next to it a 1966 Shelby GT 350 Hertz Renner Racer that was converted to a race car, also raced in period Group B racer, and then the 1966 427 Corvette in Nassau Blue. All 3 of these cars completely unimaginable for me to own before YouTube and you all watching these videos, and now, well, I have them all. The Nassau Blue 427 is the car that's going to go up next. It has a vibration at high RPM that doesn't matter how fast you're going. It's just engine revs, which may be a flywheel, which it had before the engine was swapped. I bought this thing, the motor exploded shortly after, and the replacement motor didn't fix the vibration. I couldn't rev very far because I was in break-in miles, you know, so now, well, it's broken in and it needs to be able to rev freely. The 66 GT350 is fresh from the Car Wizards. It's ready to go on the track other than tires. I need to get some racing tires for it. Not much for the street anymore, but it is street legal thanks to the Car Wizard wiring up the lighting and making that all work again, adding a key and some other refinements that this car didn't have because it was full out race car. But one of the 1,000 original Hertz Renner Racer vehicles that Carroll Shelby built in California in 1966. A huge piece of history, and the Hemi Superbird, one of 135. Yes, the AC doesn't work, and yes, the wiring is kind of, well, I'm sure it'll break my heart at some point. I'll end up ripping it all out and doing it all over again. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy this car and enjoy this moment. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. If you do it, I will do a rev battle right now with these cars. So hit it. Have you hit it yet? The whole world's waiting on you. Hit the button. There we go.